Hey guys, it's Bennett. I'm back with another vintage box of cards out of the closet. Yes, this is actually literally out of my childhood closet, as you can tell by the box itself. It's fallen apart. This is a cello box from 1987. So you can see the packs, right? We're going to open this box. We're going to go through it. We're going to talk about some of the big cards in this set, which is probably topped by the Barry Bonds rookie. You also have the Bo Jackson Future Stars card in here. The Canseco Gold Cup card is here. Donny Mattingly has a couple of cards in here that have some value. Now, again, this, like all other sets from this time period, were massively overproduced. So nothing in here has a tremendous amount of value. But, you know, it's for me, if you're around my age, which I think a lot of the people who watch this are, this brings back a ton of great memories. This wood border set. It's the only top set that looked like this. The Clemens in here is and the Puckett were cool cards as well. So we're gonna get into this. We're gonna rip through these. We'll stop and we'll talk about some of the better cards. You know, this is not a money-making proposition. You could buy one of these boxes online for about $40. Top card, the Bonds rookie, even in a 10 is worth maybe $200-300. Again, because they were so massively overproduced. We'll set those aside. We'll talk a little bit about 1987 tops and what baseball was back then. I just want to say on a personal note, I haven't made a video in about a month, which is very unusual for me. I had a flood and been dealing with that in my house. You know, and on that note, sort of, I want to send out my thoughts and prayers for everybody in the Los Angeles area. It's brutal, horrible what's going on out there. And I know, you know, I got a tiny little taste of sort of what it is to lose your property and lose things that you care about. But I can't imagine losing an entire house, place where my kids live or their school. So, you know, obviously, my thoughts go out to everybody out in California. Anyway, let's get into this. We're going to start. I'm going to take all the packs out. It's a lot of cards, right? We're going to go through it. There's going to be some very old gum in here, which, no, I'm not going to eat. But feel free to ask me to in the comments. I'm still not going to do it. But if you want to ask me about it, no problem. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll make one of the kids eat it if they do something wrong. That'll be a punishment coming up somewhere in the near future. Anyway, without any further ado, we are going to get into 1987 Topps Baseball. First pack. Here we go. So let's pop this open. There will be one stick of gum, which will be in the middle of the cards somewhere. There it is. It's still, I mean, it's amazing. You wonder what this stuff was made of. This is exactly what it looked like in 1987. So go figure. It still looks exactly the same. Like I said, there's each one also came with this was a sort of a write-in thing where you could get these special cards. I don't know if anybody ever did this, but it was a special offer for a set of cards that you could get. Anyway, here we go. So this is what the cards look like. Again, we're going to go through them pretty quickly. Shane Rawley. There's a Fernando Valenzuela All-Star. Ken Phillips, Steve Lake. I'm not going to read all these off. There's, for the younger people, that's Ken Griffey Jr.'s dad. That's Ken Griffey. There's Dave Winfield. There's a Ripken. There's Dick Williams. And like I said, I'm just going to go, oh, this. I can tell you right now, along with the Bo Jackson, this B.J. Surhoff card was a huge collect for people my age. I think I was 12 or 13 when this set was released. B.J. Surhoff was supposed to be the next big thing. He started that with like the catchers being like the big thing. Here's Mike Scott. As a Mets fan, he tortured us throughout the 80s in that time period. There's Mike Scioscia, future manager. There's Boggs. The Boggs is a cool card. And we'll keep going. There's Ron Washington. Clint Hurdle we just passed, another future manager. And we're just going to keep tearing through them. Like I said, we're looking for the Bonds. We're looking for the Jackson, the Bo Jackson. We'll get the gum. There we go. I think I just saw a Mike Schmidt All-Star. Schmitty was a big player back then. There's Julio Franco, who played until I think he was like 92 years old. There's Mario Soto. There's the Schmidt All-Star. There's Barry Larkin. This was a big collect in 1987. There's that was Eckersley we just passed. There's Dave Parker. There's Bobby Witt. Right? We know somebody else named Bobby Witt, right? Playing right now. There's his dad. There's a Puckett. Puckett was amazing. I love Kirby Puckett. I'm keeping that one aside. And that was Moose Haas. I can see right on the top of this one is a Pete Rose. Is right on the top of this. We just lost Pete, which means, as everybody suspects in our hobby, as I suspect, that means Pete will be in the Hall pretty soon. They were just waiting for him to die so they could put him in. So I'm guessing we're going to see that coming soon. There's Tommy Lasorda. Met Tommy Lasorda when I was 8 years old. Taught me how to throw a curveball. There's a picture of me wearing, a monochrome sweatsuit, gray, all gray, as tended to be the case back then, with some high socks. Not the best picture of me, but great memory. That was up at the Concord, New York. Concord was a place, for those of you who don't know or aren't from this area, Concord was a joint that a lot of families went to. Summers and winters you'd spend up there, and they'd often have celebrities or athletes come by, sort of as entertainment. And Tommy was there. It must have been, it was in the winter. We were up there. I remember it was snowing, so it was the off season. And Tommy, I guess, got an appearance fee and showed up and taught me how to throw a curveball. There's Davey Johnson, Whitey Herzog. We still haven't seen a Bonds. We still haven't seen a Canseco. We still haven't seen... there's Tommy John, namesake of the surgery. Where do we miss Tommy? There's Tommy John. Scott Nielsen. We haven't seen a Bo Jackson in here. These cards are in remarkably good condition from being in these packs. There's Ricky. We just lost Ricky, too. And there's Roger right behind him. The great Ricky Henderson. Never, ever will we ever see a leadoff hitter like Ricky Henderson. Guy could do it all. He was truly ahead of his time. He played in the 70s and 80s like these guys are playing today with speed and power. There's the Clemens again. I'll let you know if I decide. If any of these look really good, there's Sean Dunston. Sean Dunston was one of my favorite players because he visited a baseball camp I was attending one summer and gave a clinic and was a really sweet guy. That's how a kid from New York became a Sean Dunston fan, or Shawan Dunston, sorry. But I think he pronounced it Sean, if memory serves. If any of these look particularly good, I might send these off and get them graded. If I do, I'll do another video and I'll let you know how I did. Maybe just for fun, to SGC, see how we do. I'd like to have some of these 87s. They look really good, really well centered. These cards, like I said, for being in a closet, these have been in a closet since 1987. So, do the math. That's a very long time. They've been sitting downstairs in my mother's house since 1987. There's Bruce Bochy as a player. You see all these guys are managers now. Odeby McDowell, one of the great names, one of the great characters. There's the Donny Mattingly. That's probably like the third most valuable card you could pull out of here. In a 10, that's probably $150. Donny in 1987 had a remarkable season. That was before his back problems. He tied, I think, the Major League record, set the American League record, and tied the Major League record with 8 straight games with a home run, in which I think he hit like 2 grand slams. He also hit like 340 that year. Donny had an amazing year. I mean, he was the kind of guy, he was absolutely on track to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and then that back injury just sidelined him. But he was an unbelievable player. I mean, again, I was a Met fan, but I lived in New York. So, it was hard not to appreciate what Donny Baseball was doing. Tim Lola, there's a checklist. Look at this. We still haven't seen a Bonds. There's the Jose Canseco I mentioned. And we still haven't seen a Bo Jackson, the Future Stars card. There's Eric Davis. You want to talk about a beast in his day? Eric Davis was unbelievable. Gives you some indication, right? I say your name like Eric Davis. If you're if you were born in the 70s and you say Eric Davis to a baseball fan, they're like, oh, yeah, he was a monster. You say it to somebody now, maybe who's not as familiar with, with that era, I don't know if they know necessarily who Eric Davis is, which is just crazy to me. Just gives you some indication of how fleeting these things are. All right, let's see. Come on, there's Frank Viola. I was a fan of Viola's with the Mets. He was with the Twins there in '87. Royals leader, Sparky Anderson, one of the great managers of all time. There's Dave Kingman. I got a couple of signed balls by Dave Kingman. He gave a little clinic at a batting cage I was at once. There's Jack Morris. Nobody much more tenacious than Jack Morris. Was he a great pitcher? Man, he was unbelievable, Jack Morris. There's another guy. I mean, just, don't get much better than Jack Morris. All right, let's see what else we got in this box. There's some more gum. Jim Wolford. Come on, let's see him. There's Mike Pagliarillo. Sid Fernandez wore number 50 because I think he was from Hawaii, if memory serves. I don't know. There's Joel Youngblood, Rick Anderson. There's the great Kirk Gibson when he was still with the Tigers. That's right before he leaves to go to the Dodgers. And the following year, his first year with the Dodgers, they beat the Mets in the NLCS, who were a far superior team, led largely by Gibson. Then Gibson gets hurt in that series, right? Right at the end of that series, Gibson gets hurt. He's got a bad hamstring. He's got a banged-up knee. He could barely walk. And I think everybody knows what happens in the '88 World Series. Game 1, I can't believe what I just saw. That was off of the great Dennis Eckersley. They take Game 1 of the there's Rose as a manager. He was a player manager for the Reds back then, right as he was getting himself into trouble. They take Game 1 off of the heavily favored A's and go on to sweep them to win the World Series. There's Ripken. There's the late great Gary Carter. Again, as a Met fan, hard to not love Gary Carter. There's a Wade Boggs All-Star. It's pretty cool. We're getting through this pretty quick. We'll keep going. There's some more gum. Get out of here. There's Rick Cerrone. Rick Cerrone was a long-time backup catcher. I guess he started a few games here and there for the Yankees. There's Tony Gwynn we passed, the great Tony Gwynn. There's the Wizard, Ozzie Smith. We still have not seen, this is crazy, we still have not seen a Bonds, and we still have not seen the Bo Jackson Future Stars. I'm starting to doubt, were they in 87 Topps? Am I losing my mind? Maybe they were in Topps Traded? Were they only in Topps Traded? Drop me a comment. If I don't see one of them in this box, I'm guessing, now I'm thinking that maybe they were in Topps Traded, but I don't think that's right. I think they were in this set. Because Bonds with the Pirates, maybe because he was I don't know. I'm starting to doubt myself. Let's see. Howard Johnson. There's Dick Schofield. His son played as well. There's Joe Carter. Tito Landrum. There's Ryan Sandberg. Domingo Ramos. I remember Dingo. There's Eric Shaw. Gave up, I think he gave up Pete Rose's record-breaking hit when he broke Ty Cobb's record. There was Kent Herbeck. I mean, this is a huge set, right? I want to say there's at least 660 cards in this set. There may be over 700 cards in this set, so it's possible. I just haven't seen them, right? There's Bobby Valentine right there on top, because we're still seeing a lot of cards for the first time here. We're not getting tremendous amount of duplicates. Bobby Valentine. If you've never read about Bobby Valentine, he was a hell of a talent himself. And injuries just forced him off the field. There's Sid Bream. Charlie Huff. And it's funny, there's Sid Bream in a Pirates uniform, right? Years later, he was Bonds' teammate as a rookie. Years later, he outruns Bonds' throw to beat the Pirates in the NLCS to send the Braves to the World Series. And that famous play, there's the straw man. There's Will Clark. This was a big card, I remember, too. In 87 Topps, collecting Will the Thrill was big. All right, we only have like 10 more packs to go. And we have not seen either one of those gentlemen. I'm starting to really think they're not in here. But I really, I don't know. Hope I'm wrong. Let's see what we got. There's Darrell Evans. By the way, if you've made it this far in the video, please hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you like content like this or any of the other stuff you'll see on this channel. And drop me a comment. Talk to me about your early collecting days, or maybe you were a little kid in 1987. Maybe you were a little bit older. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to talk about, you know, what was going on with you. There's Dave Spaghetti Rigetti. It's Chris Chambliss. Let's keep going. But absolutely, drop me a line. Let me know how collecting's going for you now. Let me know how the market's treating you. I don't know if you heard, there was recently a robbery in England. A card grading company called Aces, I think it is. They grade primarily Pokemon or whatever, but something like $300,000 worth of customers' cards were stolen. And they decided they were going to give them the raw. Oh, Mike Greenwell is another guy. They were going to give them the raw value of the cards back, rather than any kind of graded value. I don't know. You got some pretty angry people over there in the UK. And I've heard they're a pretty reputable company. So I guess that's where the declared value with a company like PSA would come in, right? If that were to happen. Hopefully their security is better than what was going on there in England. We're still seeing a lot of cards for the first time. So there's Reggie. So I'm still holding out hope we're going to see those guys. There's Pedro Guerrero, Mike Trio, Bobby Thigpen. There's Jack Morris again, Rudy Law, Bob Ojeda. There's another Dave Parker. Come on, guys. Where are you? Where are you? For those of you who don't know, I'm assuming anybody watching this channel knows who Bonds is for sure, knows who Bo Jackson is. But, you know, Jackson played for such a short period of time, made one all-star team, and then got hurt playing football, had the hip replacement, and was just never the same. But for those of you who don't know what kind of athlete Bo Jackson was, I mean, this guy was an absolute animal. There were stories about Bo Jackson running a sub 440. Think about that. He ran like, I think he was clocked at 413 officially, or something like that in college. And unofficially, I've heard people tell stories that people who were there with stopwatches clocked him at sub 4, at like 392, which is just unbelievable because he was a large man. And, you know, he could play baseball and football. He could have been healthy. I think he could have been a Hall of Famer in either sport, certainly football, for sure. But even in baseball, just watching him play, you know, you can't look at his raw numbers because it was a different era, but power, speed, he could hit for, you know, a good enough average. He was certainly a great defender. He could chase down anything. And if you've never seen the throw he made, the throw at Harold Reynolds, when Reynolds was with the Mariners, who was arguably probably one of the 2 or 3 fastest guys in baseball at the time. Look that video up on YouTube. Look Bo Jackson throwing out Harold Reynolds up. And watch that after you get off from watching this, because it is the most incredible throw, I think, in baseball history was made by Bo Jackson. He was just an incredible, incredible athlete. There's Juan Samuel. There's Bill Buckner, Bill Buckner finally made peace with the people in Boston. There's the Bonds. Okay, so it wasn't in the traded set. There's the Bonds. This is, I mean, it looks phenomenal, actually. The corners look good. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. This is, that's a nice looking card. We're going to put that aside. That might do it. There's Tony Gwynn. That might be a card I would send in. You know, just to check it out. That might go to PSA, that one, that Bonds. We still haven't found a Bo Jackson, which is interesting. You know, it's funny. I had a guy named Donny, who was a buddy of mine in high school, was a huge Barry Bonds fan. He wasn't really collect cards necessarily, but he collected Bonds and had a stack of that card in his closet, like in one of those clear lucite boxes. I'll never forget that. He had that for years. I wonder where that is now. He thought it was going to be a huge investment, and he, frankly, he would have been right if not for all the steroids and the PED stuff. I mean, Bonds as a younger man in the 80s and into the early and through into the 90s was a phenomenal player without the help. Yeah, what are you going to do? You never know, right? I mean, he wasn't going to hit 79 home runs or 74 home runs. Sorry, he wasn't going to do that. There's the Harold. There we go. Harold Reynolds' ears must have been ringing. You see him on TV all the time now, of course. I think he got canned from ESPN for some reason, but he's on MLB Network, perhaps. I don't remember where Harold Reynolds is right now, but he's around and still loves telling that story about when Jackson threw him out. There's Chris Brown. There's Mookie, my buddy. Love Mookie. There's Kirby again. Put Kirby over here. That's the first one of his regular cards we've seen. There's Dennis Oil Can Boyd. Got that name because he was a bit of a drinker. Like to have a can of beer. There's Dave Righetti, Steve Farr, Al Newman, Mike Witt, Willie Randolph. There's a Nolan Ryan. All right, 3 more packs and we are through this box. I would love to see a Bo Jackson Future Stars, because that's really the only kind of that and the Mattingly All-Star are like the only 2 big cards we haven't seen out of this set, and it would be cool to put eyes on them. I don't know where the rest of that gum went. Might have just been absorbed into the cards. It's been so long. Ricky Horton, Tim Conroy. There's Charlie Leibrandt. There's Pedro Guerrero, who was a big player back in the day. Don Baylor, always led the league in getting hit by a pitch. There's the Puckett All-Star again. Rich Gedman. There's Valenzuela. I think we already put one of those aside. There's another Ripken. We put one of those aside already. All right. We got 2 more packs. Come on, Bo. Bo knows everything. Bo knows 1987 baseball, certainly, right? Come on, Bo. Where are you, buddy? Come and say hello. We just saw Harold Reynolds. We just saw your buddy. There's Darryl Boston, Howard Johnson. No relation to the hotel chain. Tito Landrum. I know a lot of people watching this maybe not understand that joke, but that's okay. People my age certainly will. There's Barry Larkin, Dennis Eckersley, Karkovice, Savage. There's Bobby Witt again, Doyle Alexander, and there's Harold Reynolds again. All right, this is our last pack of the box. Come on, Bo. One last chance to hop out. I just saw the Donny baseball. We were looking for that one, too. I think that's our second one of those. That's a cool card to hit. Let's see. Who else is in here? Neil Allen, Ruben Sierra. I think Ruben Sierra was still playing in the aughts. Ruben Sierra played forever. I think he was like 47 years old when he stopped playing. Andres Galarraga, the Big Cat. There's Brett Butler, Jose De Leon, Gary Ward. There's a checklist. Ernie Witt. And there's the Jose Canseco Cup. I think that's the second one of those we got, but a good way to end the box. Guys, that was 1987 Topps Baseball. I appreciate you sticking with me through the break. This brings back a lot of memories. This, like I said, this wood border, just holding these cards in my hand and seeing these rancid pieces of gum pop out of here really brings back a lot of really, really great memories from when I was 12 or 13 years old, depending on when this set came out, certainly. Anyway, that's it. If you like the content, please hit the like button. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And drop me a comment. And catch you next time.